This video is brought to you by Extreme Tees. Click on the link below. Make sure you put Kevin in the promo code and you'll get a 20% discount.
What's going on, America? Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And I thought maybe we should check in and see how the liberal media is doing concerning President Trump and his corona and his hospitalization. I'm sure they're concerned about it. I'm sure they're sitting there praying for the well-being of our president. They're reflecting on all of the falsehoods and false narratives and lies and attacks that they've bestowed upon our president for the last 3.5 years. Unfounded, unproven, all of that stuff. They don't care about that. And I'm sure that they've come under heavy conviction and have repented of their wicked ways. Therefore, let me go ahead and snoop in and just see exactly how they feel about the president and him being very positive about his recovery, even saying something to the nature of, you know what, don't fear COVID. Because see, when I saw that and he said that, I was thinking, not that he was downplaying COVID or he was saying that COVID isn't real, it doesn't affect folks, but instead giving us encouragement, giving us confidence to know that we are going to get through this, we're going to beat this and overcome it. Instead of walking around like the Democrats have been making us feel that we all have to climb under a rock, stay in the house, not go to work, let the economy completely crash, make sure our kids become dumber than they already are, all of these things. We got to stay in the crib, can't vote, all of that. Yeah, man, go in the house by 10, all of those things. We got to do those things just to survive, because this thing right here will never go away. We have to embrace the fact that life as we know it has changed. And then you got Donald Trump coming out saying, hey, don't fear this. We're going to get through this. And that right there just might be too much. He might be encouraging folks to get themselves killed because they're not taking it seriously. But I'm sure that's not what the liberal media feels. So let's go ahead and check in and see exactly how they're taking this whole thing and encouraging the president to get better.
I have that kind of sympathy. I wish I did, Rev, that you had. Because I look at this as a drunk driver who injured himself in a wreck and killed the oncoming sober driver. Donald Trump has injured himself and injured and 200,000 people, other drivers, have died due to the coronavirus. So I don't have sympathy for Donald Trump.
What in the heck is this man talking about? Drunk driving, killing folks, all of that stuff. So let me get this straight. This man right here is blaming Trump for 200,000 something people's death. No China, none of that. None of their lack of communication and sharing that intel, nothing. What about perhaps about 6,000 or 7,000 of those folks up in New York? He's not distributing this blame to some of these Democrats, nothing. Okay, so this man right here is trying to lay that on Trump's shoulders because Trump believes in some type of reason, meaning not too far. Let's not go overboard to where we become Orwellian, but let's also put things in place to make sure we're safe as we possibly can be as a country. Let's not drive folk crazy and make them become hermits, make them start developing obsessive compulsive disorder, make them start going crazy and tussling inside of stores over toilet paper. Let's not do that, but also let's not make them think that there's nothing out there and y'all can go out and kick it in Chinatown like Nasty Pelosi said. Or like all the folks on these liberal networks who were saying Trump's overreacting, or maybe like Joe Biden said, that, shutting down flights coming from China is no time for Trump's xenophobia. How many folks would have died if Joe Biden was on the wheels of steel cutting it up? Probably a lot more. See, so let's continue hearing about their view of how Trump handled it and the result of him contracting COVID. Let's check it out.
He and certainly his staff and the chief of staff and others knowing that he has been exposed to somebody who's testing positive and apparently has COVID.
Now, what is this man talking about? What is Dr. Doolittle saying here? Talking about something he went knowing that him and his chief of staff all been exposed to somebody with COVID. How does he know that? I mean, here's my thing. You're telling me that all these folks that's getting tested every single time they get in Trump's face, along with him being tested every day, somebody tested positive and Trump said, don't worry about it. Let him hang out with me. I'm fine. I'm sure that my immune system will fight it off. This man just throwing up stuff, just like all the liberal media do. Just like them saying Trump's responsible for 200,000 deaths. This right here is negligence and all of that stuff. No proof. None of that stuff. In fact, if you are someone that has some type of logic, you might even say, well, how did Trump come down with COVID? I mean, I'm just curious. If everyone around him is being tested, and he's being tested all the time, and he's not in proximity to the audience or the crowds out there, you're telling me then that somehow that COVID just happened to float from hundreds of feet away right up into Donald Trump's nostrils? Or could it be that this exaggeration or this false idea that a mask will protect us all and staying in the crib, walking around with gloves on all the time is going to protect us might be a little bit of false security, might not be exactly what is really supposed to protect us? I mean, even Fauci in the beginning said a mask provides little to almost no help when it comes down to contracting it. So if he can get it, knowing that he's tested constantly, I mean, I think we're all pretty much vulnerable, but let's continue listening to these lies.
His response has been homicidal negligence. He also goes to a campaign event. Apparently, he and certainly his staff and the chief of staff and others knowing that he has been exposed to somebody who's testing positive and apparently has COVID. This too gets to what certainly looks like back to this idea of homicidal negligence.
One of the reasons why we are obviously so skeptical of the way that they've been describing the president's condition is because this is a White House, Wolf, that has obviously consistently withheld information, offered counterfactual, false information. We are now seeing the results, Wolf, of 5 years from the president's candidacy throughout his time in the White House, of his falsehoods and his lies coming back to bite him.
I'm sorry. Who is this bum? Who is this guy talking about his falsehoods, his lies are coming back to bite him? There's 5 years of his falsehoods. What do you mean 5 years of his falsehoods? First of all, is he talking about COVID? Is he talking about some other garbage that they just threw up there? And what about CNN falsehoods? I mean, they have a plethora. As we go back. But for some reason, their lies just get swept under the rug. Nobody talks about it. They never come back out and reissue statements, at least to the degree where folks will know that they were lying. No, they don't do that stuff. They just, in the bottom column, back page of 79, they might say, oops, that's it. Oops. Oops to what? Ain't no way. Oops. Trust me, it covers everything. So now these guys up here talking about some of his falsehoods are coming back to, which ones? Huh? Or are we filling in the blank? What information did he or did he not share with the people? And now how is that coming back to bite him? That's what I don't understand. This man right here is just throwing out all kind of stuff. What he's trying to do, because I have to expose him, he's trying to make all these folks that's out there that already hate Trump feel like it's his negligence, he's irresponsible, he's been hiding the danger of this disease. And because of all of that, look what happened to him. Even though this man can't explain how he contracted it, none of that stuff. Look at all these folks that he's been lying to. Don't tell you why, who, when, what the lie was, all of that stuff. But somehow, all of that is tied into COVID. We're not going to tell you which lies we're talking about. None of that stuff. Trust me, he's bad. He's been lying about a whole bunch of stuff. And now he's paying the price. Basically, what he's saying is, you know what? Because Trump's a bad guy who lies, bad things happen to him. Because he can't be talking about COVID. This man talking about 5 years ago. So he's just throwing in a whole gumbo of stuff and hoping it just flies right over their raggedy audience's heads. Let's continue listening to this propaganda.
It has to be a humiliation for this president who's been making jokes about the mask that Joe Biden wears, almost created a 2020 campaign of mocking the mask-wearing public, and here he is.
Now, you hear this guy? This guy's lying also. This is falling into the category of the whole Donald Trump said that COVID-19 was a hoax. No, he didn't. He said the way that they're portraying his handling of it is a hoax. Yes, But the media said, he said that COVID-19 is a hoax. Now, this man's talking about he mocks folks that wear masks. No, he's mocked Creepy Sleepy Sloppy, because Creepy Sleepy Sloppy wears his mask like it's some lazy socks that no longer have the elastic to stay up on his calves and just slides down into his shoes. Looks like water is in the bottom of his socks, just flooding them, and they won't stay up. His mask has all kind of gaps and holes in the side. He wears it hanging off the side of his ear. He looks hilarious. Donald Trump will find something on one of his opponents that's funny, out of place, stupid, all of those things, and he's going to call it out and he's going to make jokes about it. But he has not attacked the whole public as a whole concerning mask wearing. He has not made folks feel like you're not tough enough if you wear a mask. He's never said, you know what, if you wear a mask, you're stupid and it has no help whatsoever. None of that. None of that. But that's what they want folks to think. See, once again, who's the liar? Them or Trump? Because I follow Trump very closely and I also follow them very closely. And he's never said the things that this man is trying to say that he has said. But let's continue with this proper.
Hobbling to Walter Reed Hospital on Marine One.
Masha, what do you see happening in America right now with a country unable to know what to believe about the president's health?
Well, you know, Brian, there have been a lot of comparisons to the Soviet Union in the last...
Who and what is this? What? Who? What? I don't get it. I don't know who this person, human, is that is able to speak on this and talk about a lot of comparisons to the Soviet Union in reference to what?
A couple of days, and I think they're...
I mean, I'm just waiting for the punchline. I need to hear why this is a comparison. So let's finish this up and see exactly where this human takes this.
They're not unwarranted. The particular period that I'm thinking about is something that I've written about a lot, which were the days...
I'm trying to understand the comparison.
Of Stalin's death watch.
What? Did y'all hear that? Stalin's death watch. What the crap? See, this is what I'm talking about. No one checks them. They're not accountable for stupidity. They just get out there reckless, slinging it, shotgunning it. They're just hoping that they hit something. They're throwing spaghetti on the wall, hoping that it hits something and sticks. I don't even understand that comparison. Always going over the top. But citizens that watch their program, their raggedy audience, don't catch that comparison. They don't stop and internalize it and say, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You're comparing a virus that was sent here by China. President Trump has given resources to all these states to handle this. Only folks that's whining saying we need to shut down everything is the Democrats. The only folks who's preaching doom and gloom are the Democrats. The only ones that's trying to use this for political reasons are the Democrats. I mean, what is she saying? Or has this COVID thing been like an experiment? Is he trying to exterminate a whole bunch of folks? I'm also trying to understand who qualifies this human to get on there. Because, I mean, you got to be sensitive. I don't know if this is, gender neutral, binary. I don't know, the peanut butter gender. I don't know what so I'm just going to call this person a human if I'm not offending them by saying human. Is that okay? Okay.
What we have now is a prima facie evidence.
What the heck is this human talking about? Now let's hear what this guy with the skinny neck got to say.
It's of a person who became president by gaslighting the public, hiding his own failures, his lack of capacity and ability, and now finds himself in Walter Reed Hospital.
Now, did y'all hear that? A person who gaslighted folks into becoming president. No, he didn't. No, he didn't Only folks that are being gaslit right now are the ones that's watching their program. Those are the only folks. Only reason I'm watching it and tolerating it right now so I can debunk these lies. Because I'm going to be honest, it's hard to stomach. It's hard to force it down. It keeps wanting to regurgitate itself up like I'm about to feed a whole nest of baby birds. That's how disgusting it is to try to swallow this type of gaslighting. The same folks that'll look you in your eye and tell you as buildings burn in the back, folks running around, bottles being thrown, folks fighting, folks getting killed, will look you in your eye and tell you that it's mostly peaceful protesting. Same network that said What is President Trump talking about that there's a caravan of illegal immigrants coming this way? He's lying. As we see hundreds and thousands of them marching this way. They're sitting on top of the fence. They're bringing their flags. But yet this network is gaslighting their raggedy audience to the point where they say, hey, even though you see this big caravan coming this way, you don't really see this big caravan coming this way. But yet Donald Trump is the gaslighter. They're full of gas. Let's continue.
And here you see Joe Biden showing you what a real man does, what a real human being does.
Well, my first thought was we didn't have to wait long into October before we got our October surprise.
This morning, the president's learning in the worst possible way. You can't argue your way out of this pandemic.
No, wait a minute. I know I let a couple of these folks go. But let me go back to the dude that talks about Joe Biden, what a real man does, what a real man. Are you kidding me? Joe Biden, if he'd have came down with corona, that man would be down for 18 months. We would have to push back the election or substitute someone in for Joe. But yet they talking about what a real man. Look, Joe Biden works about 3 hours a day. President Trump sleeps about 3 hours a day. That means the rest of the day, President Trump is up working. The rest of the day for Joe's probably somewhere sleeping. And yet they're talking about that's what a real man would do. Trump has done more than Biden has done in less than 4 years versus Biden in less than 40 years, over 40 years. Nothing to show for it. Butt naked. Yeah, man, how long are you going to be building that birdhouse I've been working on for 40 years? Is it done yet? Nah, I just got the base finished. Nothing to show for it. All that work. No birds able to go into it and enjoy themselves. He ain't done nothing. But yet he's talking about Joe Biden's a real man. How? Why? What makes him a real man? For what? What did he do? But let's try to wrap this gaslighting up.
The president's positive test comes after months of a dangerous gamble, downplaying COVID-19, floating public health regulations, and minimizing the dangers of the virus.
Is this a moment of reckoning for the president?
Recklessness, negligence, ignorance.
The recklessness and the denialism and the anti-medicine position.
So I don't have sympathy for Donald Trump.
But it certainly is not that much of a surprise.
This is not surprising.
Not a surprise.
I'm not surprised.
Not surprised.
Y'all hear all that? Negligence, recklessness. Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised. You know what they're going to be surprised of? Is when they get their faces beat in again in November. They're all going to be sitting back whining, talking about how this happened. I'm sure it's because folks just are racist, xenophobic, white nationalist, Nazi, KKK members. America is more racist than we thought it was. No, America is smarter than y'all think we are. For y'all to sit back and try to make it seem like President Trump contracted COVID somehow because he's been reckless, negligent. He's been downplaying the virus and all of that stuff. I can't think of one thing that the president did or didn't do concerning COVID that is so obvious and so horrible that you can contribute deaths to him, or any behavior that would make me understand how this man who is protected and is tested and everyone else that even gets close to him have to go through the same procedure, but yet he ended up getting it. My question to all these idiots is how? How did that happen? You're saying it's because of negligence, recklessness. How do you know that? Tell me, how did that corona jump over that social distancing, all those testing, and keeping President Trump from mingling in those crowds, shaking hands, touching, all of that, but somehow got it? So where's the negligence again? The mask, you're telling me, would have stopped all of that from happening? Lies, gaslighting. They're trying to use this, of course, to drive folks to insanity and unreasonable ideas of how this all came about, and now it's all Trump's fault, hoping that they'll get that last minute push for votes against Trump. That's all that is. And yeah, so they're going to be shocked. They're going to be surprised in November. Anyway, had to expose it, y'all. You know me, can't let it go. I wanted to, but I can't. It's greater than me. Anyway, don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. Follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff. Links below. Check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. Click on Kevin. click on the link below this video, put Kevin in the promo code, you'll get a 20% discount. If you want to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, feel free. Links below. And, yeah, keep your eyes open. We're about to launch kcuncensored.com. All right, you'll hear more about that real soon. God bless you all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.